MDfashionco Podcast. We're pumping out episodes every single day, talking about intellectual discussions and things like that. Right now, we have Frank on here. Frank's a really good friend, and I want to talk about content on this because I've been looking at it so much. So, Frank, who are you? What do you want to say? How do you want to introduce yourself?
I don't need introduction. All my shit that I've done and will do speaks for itself. And
Yes,
if you don't know,
absolutely.
then yeah. But yeah, no, just Frank. Just Frank.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. So what I'm going to do, Frank, is in the title, I'm going to put your name to your YouTube. And I think that's the best way that people are going to understand you, right? Exactly what you do. Yeah?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah,
All right.
I'm a videographer, editor, artist,
Yeah, absolutely.
tastemaker, visionary. Um, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little
And
step.
you've been making content for ages, just like I have. And I wanna say something about my experience when I'm doing this podcast. I'm searching for guests, right? So I look at the certain topics, and then I go to YouTube, and then I look at the most recently uploaded. And I will honestly say, like 70% of the content is crypto made. Sorry, not crypto made, AI generated. That's slop, in
On
my opinion,
TikTok,
on YouTube.
on YouTube. Wow.
Yeah, it's
I think
insane. I don't know if you've ever done that.
nah. Well, nah, but that's very interesting. It's heading in that way, bro. Unfortunately, or fortunately, maybe. I don't know. I'm not
Mm,
going to comment whether it's positive or negative. I think going forward, the people that are best at what they do are able to see the future and then maneuver themselves in such a way where they can anticipate what's happening, and then the position that they put themselves in the present will pay off hundredfold or whatever multiply in the future. You can, and that's like in business, that's in trading, that's in content, right?
mm.
You are someone that's always been like thinking about how can I position myself to be in the best possible state in the future, which is why you are where you are, and that's what I intend to do. So I think that the idea of having all this AI slop is actually going to work in both of our favors because we are real and we
Yeah,
thrive off the idea of like their actual human experience. The video game that we're playing is going to be remembered and is interesting because we go through real human things, right? And eventually, there might even be a platform that is like people might just get so sick of it. There might be a new platform where it's like, okay, there's only human-made content allowed. Everything that's AI made is going to be like passed through some sort of filter, or you have to like verify yourself, which will come with like negatives and positives. I don't know if I want to play into the whole like you need a fucking digital ID for shit, but I think that might be where things are headed. What do you think?
yeah. I honestly think that like we have to be realistic. Let's be realistic about the world. There's no point being a guy that's trying to sell Nokia phones or BlackBerry phones when the iPhone just came out. There's no point being like, oh, but my phone has the buttons that are pressed, and it's like, no, it's over. Okay. And I think we have to acknowledge that like we live in a time where you can't be a rapper. Let's just start. You can be a rapper. You can't be a lyrical rapper like Eminem because every single person is going to go in the comments and say, "Nah, you get no respect because you just went to AI to make that." Right.
Yeah.
So think about when Eminem was coming up. Right. He was rapping and like. He would do those battle raps and they'd say, wow, that's so clever. That's amazing. It's kind of a product of its time. So it's like we have to accept that we're in a product of our time right now. Yeah.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
yeah, so the time that we're in right now is Sora just came out. People like when I scroll, I don't know about you, but when I scroll, a lot of these videos are AI. Are you finding that?
I try not to look at videos too much on the like that's outside of what am producing. I really try to stay away from what's like obviously I see a lot of things that are AI generated for sure. But for the most part, I'm like very if you look in the same place that everybody's looking, you're gonna come to the same conclusions that everyone else is coming to. So if you look
Mm.
at different places, you know what I mean? I want to stand out and be different and have different ideas and a different perspective. And the only way that you do that is by going against the gradient and like making your own wave. So that's where I'm at. I don't see too much, but also I'm not in that realm. Is my
Yeah.
short answer.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because I'm jumping into this like YouTube content, and right now it's just these main social media platforms that everyone uses, right? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. they are being flooded with AI content, and I think I agree that it's going. Would you agree that it's gonna get worse or better, or not worse or better? There will be more AI, right,
Yeah,
in the future.
yeah. When people learn how to monetize it, for sure.
Yeah, there will be more AI. So I'm just wondering, like, you're always talking about creating the wave and creating your own unique vision, and I think that you can still do that in nowadays. Um, but it's just so interesting, and it's a complete anomaly. I think it's almost like a black swan event, right? AI video is almost like a black swan event when you think about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, 100%. That's why I'm of the opinion that there might be a new platform that bans it completely, and then that's where everyone moves on to next. Um,
Mm.
I used to listen before TikTok came out. I remember, I think we were talking about it. I used to listen to a lot of Gary V, and he was
Mm.
always saying the next one's coming. Jump on it, because the early adopters, the innovators, are the ones that reap the rewards. When that next platform comes out, if it comes out, whatever it is, I'm gonna be
Oh,
there,
yeah,
and I'm gonna
yeah.
continue doing what I've always been doing. It's the only thing that I can do. Um, I think if you go to the audience, go to the crowd in the present, you're always gonna be trying to chase.
Yes.
But if you let the wave come to you, or you create it and you surf it, and then like that's where the actual timelessness comes in. Because AI is a thing of the present, right? Well, the
Mm.
way that it is currently, it's not timeless. What's
Mm.
timeless is things that we look back on and we think, okay, that was really good. The Matrix, fucking the college dropout. Oh, can I swear?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, the college dropout. Just yeah, movies and classics that are remembered and are still
Mm.
present in this day and age. Like but in a different way. Like you might have um Scarface, right, as a classic movie, but then you see the clips of Scarface in the way that it's being repurposed now. It's still relevant, it's just in a different format. You know what I mean? If you
Mm.
make something relevant, no matter what the current trend is, it will push through and people will appreciate it universally, I feel like. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you've touched on what Joseph Campbell said in The Hero with a Thousand Faces, right? You're talking about the hero's journey, and there are these archetypal stories in humanity that I think if we want to really go back, we're talking about the Bible, and we're talking about like the New Testament and all these religious texts which talk about the same topics. And they say in screenwriting there's only 7 stories, right? So the story of MD Fashion Co., right, has always been like, it's been about growing and becoming into yourself, and but yeah, definitely a story of a come up, right? That's what MD Fashion Co. is, and that story is never going to change because people are always going to be growing. I think a lot of the stuff you talk about in your YouTube, and guys, you have to go and watch Frank's YouTube. It's going to be linked in the title. Yeah, watch that because you explore a lot of things about, like, I think purpose is a big thing for you, right? And a lack of purpose. Yeah, and I think a lack of purpose is something that I definitely think about a lot. And also, it's going to be super relevant when it comes to real humans dealing with AI because it takes away a lot of purpose when you consider, just to be really like logical, right?
Mhm.
Machines will take away a lot of work,
Mhm.
right? So as a result, humans will not have their purpose, right? The purpose will be stripped away because a lot of people, like, their purpose is in their work. So I think there will be a crisis of purpose if there isn't one already, right? And I
Yeah,
also and I also think that yes, real art will always speak to that, and it is timeless, right? Real art that
100%.
speaks to absolute human stuff, it will be timeless. And I think but I also do think that exists art exists as a result of the time that we're in. So you're talking about a lot of stuff about purpose because you live in this time.
Absolutely. I've always personally been somebody that's driven by, I need like even in like the most basic things in my life, whether it be
Yeah.
like relationships or like what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, I function the best, and this is me personally, when they have a higher purpose associated with things. Not
Mm.
everybody's like that. Some people can do their things, and it can be very like they can move in a different way. But for me, I've always been somebody that's always striving for something greater than what I have at the moment, and that has its pros and cons.
Mm.
Um, the I completely agree with what you said about AI, bro. It's like the all the slop and all the things that are being that the lay person is being bombarded with on the internet and just in general these days. It's very minimizing. But you said it was a Black Swan event, right?
Yeah.
Uh, the last Black Swan event was probably in 2020, right?
Yeah.
And that was a time when everybody got locked down and they were forced to kind of look at themselves in the mirror. So while
Mm.
it can be something that's distressing, it's also going to be a period of like extreme change and revelation. So I think me being positioned in the and you being positioned in the places that we are like the leaders, the thought leaders of this of the incoming crisis that we know is like going to eventually happen,
Yeah.
whether it tips over through AI, whether it's something else. The the fact that we are the way we are in terms of seeking for that higher purpose is going to serve and is like, in my opinion, uh not consequential, but it's here for a reason, right? We're here for a
Mm.
reason. We've been placed
Yeah.
here to be of service to the human race,
Mm.
and that's what I kind of explore. I feel like the most in what I do. And I know you resonate with this because I met you when I was like what 15 or something, 14, whatever it might be, and it's
Yeah.
still like you were grinding like how I'm grinding now, and
Mm.
there was the results. Sometimes there was good weeks, there was bad weeks, but on the whole, it paid off. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Oh, it
I'm
definitely
still in the
paid off.
process. I'm still in the process of like I haven't been able to make any crazy figures from what I'm doing,
Mm.
but it's a two-way win because it brings me satisfaction. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you are absolutely with every video you make, which is insanely high quality, you're learning something. Everything is a data point, and that does have value. I truly believe it does. And
Sorry, I'm trying to open my window. I'm listening.
no, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So I think it does have value. And let's just talk like really practically. Like I would say if someone was getting into content right now, if they were asking me like I want to get into content, which by the way I hear that a lot, and people say, "Oh, how can I get started? What can I do?" And I'm just like, if you're asking me, you're already on the wrong path, right? You just need to do it. If you are here to create content, right, or you have a voice in something to say, you should not be asking someone how to do it. You should have already picked up your phone and done it, right? That's the way I see
Agree.
it. So,
Agree.
but that being said, if someone would ask me what to do, I would say you have to live stream nowadays. If you want to start right now, live streaming has to be a part of what you do, because people want to know that it is not AI. People want to know that it's a real, authentic human connection,
100%. Yeah.
right?
I agree. That is the new thing. But for me specifically, and probably for many people,
Yeah.
the idea of live streaming doesn't really reflect the depth of what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? And that's for one of two reasons. One, it's because when I tell you a story, when I give you an experience, it can't necessarily be condensed or like fit into the parameters of what a conventional live stream
Hmm.
would allow for.
Right.
And two, it's because I'm trying to create something that's um, that speaks beyond the moment in time that it is created within.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah.
still artists, there's still DJs, there's still rappers, there's still actresses and actors that break through in this time. It's very hard to create that personal connection. I feel like in specifically what I'm doing and what many people might want to do through live streaming. Do you know what I mean? It's because like I can't create like a really intense, cathartic, emotional moment like just being in front of a live stream camera because it's a complete like it's a different game. It's not like a and this is my opinion. Obviously, it's not like a something that I can control every aspect of.
Hmm. Hmm.
When I make a vlog or a video or a movie or whatever it may be, I can almost like I'm painting. I can control like what color I'm going to use here. What emotion do I want to have be portrayed, and how do I fuse that with my real life? It's harder for me to create a character that people can aspire to be like on live stream because I'm just a human, right? I'm just like everyone else, but I'm creating this thing that's beyond humanity, that's above humanity, that's like that's gives you the feeling of uh timelessness. Does what I'm saying make sense? That's where
Of
I
course,
come
it makes
across. It's
total
like
sense because
I can yeah, go.
yeah, because we are both artists. Let's be real. We are both artists. We have art that every single person with an internet connection can experience, right? And when you experience my art, right, certain pieces like Normal Woman, you're going to get a very happy feeling from seeing that. I'm not saying that because I'm egotistical. I'm saying it because I have a massive sample size of people who have watched it and then come back and said, "Oh, that's lit. I love that." Right? So you have the same thing, and I totally understand. Right? Would you? No, I don't want to oversimplify art, but the way I see art is meant to communicate an emotional truth. Right? It's meant to make you feel something. Would you agree with that?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So if you see a horror movie, right, and say I was scared, the horror movie was a good piece of art.
Agreed. Yes.
Right? Okay. So with your art that you've made, I totally understand how you're saying, like, I can communicate an idea, right? I'm trying to communicate an idea and maybe not an idea, but maybe an emotion, I would say, right?
Mm.
Yeah. And that is
Yeah,
a never,
100%.
yeah, that is a never ending game. It's what's called an infinite game. I don't know if you know about game theory, but it's infinite.
Yeah.
Right? Because it will never end, right? Because you can always make another piece of art that's going to communicate better and communicate, and you're gonna, and we will use AI as a tool to continue to communicate those emotions, and yeah, until I guess AI learns how to do it better than humans, which is a crazy thing, right? Let's be super futuristic for a while, right? Let's just say
Good.
that there's Neuralink in everyone's brain, right? They understand when dopamine comes out because dopamine is a pleasure hormone, right?
Mm.
So they show stimulus on the screen. When the dopamine hits, they show more of it,
Mm.
right? That would be an insane thing for an AI to do to create content.
Well, arguably, that is the like TikTok feed at
That's
the
already
at like
it.
the current moment. Yeah, arguably, it's already happened, and not to discredit the the technological capacities of these algorithms and these AI systems that are probably already being used to tap into that. Have you seen Brave New World, like the Soma? Um,
Yes.
yeah,
I read that book. What a book. Yes. It's
yeah,
so
great.
relevant.
Yeah, hundred
Yeah.
percent.
Yeah.
It's already in place, bro. But the thing is, dopaminergic response is evolutionary, right?
Mm.
All these things have been wired evolutionarily over millions of years in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
The idea that the AI can tap into our like chemistry and game it is 100% valid.
Yeah. 100%.
But we will never be able to attach to something that we perceive is um, outside the realm of humanity. Like AI can make the most technically interesting and perfect quote unquote form of art, and we'll never resonate with it as much as we will the imperfect artist.
Mm.
And that's for a couple of reasons. It's because AI um, is not human. AI cannot experience humanity in the way that we can for a specific reason. And also, it's ignoring the spiritual aspect of this whole thing, which is something that I personally give a lot of credit to. It's like if I put my energy into a certain piece, there's a there's a realm or there's a layer of work there that cannot be seen but can only be felt, and that's something that's spiritual. That's something that humans specifically have the ability to tap into and channel that AI might not. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like there's an element of of I'm putting my soul into this. I'm putting
Mm.
like my life and my essence into this. It's like AI can make perfect shit, but it has no soul to put into something. You know what I
Mm.
mean? The dopaminergic pathways that everyone goes down when they watch reels and shit, it's very like base layer, very base root chakra. It's very um core desires, bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's like
Yeah.
shelter, sex, food, drama, like all this stuff is what makes us ping
Mm.
in the moment. But what do we like? That's not specifically what these timeless classics. That's not where they come from. They touch on things that are aspirational. Like you can bring it back to the greatest story ever told, which is a story of like religion, God,
Mm.
whatever sect that you specifically fall into, doesn't matter.
Mm.
There's this thing of like that taps into the spiritual and also like like the psychic, what we resonate with
Mm.
psychically,
Yeah.
that I think AI just never will be able to replicate. And I think that humans can feel that. I think that there's a like we have levels of perception that transcend just our five physical senses.
Yes, and I think that religion even started that way, right? It's I think about like back when we had tribes and we had no understanding of science at all, right? So humans had no understanding. We were tribes. We look up into the night sky, we see stars, right? That's why a lot of early gods were about astrology and all that, because how can a caveman explain what a star is? That it's an exploding thing like 100 million light years away. It's out of their realm of understanding. And so so I truly believe, to come back to art, that I've heard someone say, we don't make music, we discover it. So music already, when you feel, or not just music but art in general, when you feel such an emotion from a piece of art, it can bring you to tears, it can make you laugh, it can make you scared, right? That kind of stuff is found. It's not really crafted, I guess, if that makes sense. It's already there, right? To like give us that emotional reaction. So I don't know if AI will be able to crack that. I don't know. But have you seen there's a study they did with a rat, right? About giving it dopamine. And so they gave the rat dopamine, and if they just gave it again and again and again and again and again, right? The rat just like it got desensitized to the dopamine. So that what they had to do was give it and then wait for a while and then give it again and then wait for a while, right? So AI will be able to do that kind of thing, but I think still the spiritual like feelings that you get from art and stuff like that, I really do I do agree with you that it's not solved yet. It's
Yeah,
really not solved yet. Or for sure it's not solved yet.
yeah, and I think it's part of the human experience for it to be unsolved, right? But the fact that we're
I
even
agree.
talking about this is like we can reverse engineer this discussion and then use it to our benefit in the future. When I say that, I mean like we can tell that there's going to be a spiritual element that's just not going to be fulfilled. And people will have that realization because for the first time in their lives, they'll see all this stuff where it's like, I have all my base desires. You know, like Buddha or like just any prolific figure that had like attained material wealth always moved on to the spiritual. Always was like, okay, now what more is there for me to complete, right? When people have all the base desires covered because there'll be like AI that effectively takes your jobs, right? Takes the monotony kind of out of your working lives, like what happened in 2020 and like what will probably happen with like AI just taking all of the grunt work out of the human experience. It's like we'll have all of our material desires satisfied, and it will.
Mm.
I think ideally it will create a crisis of spirituality. So like when we talk about
Yes.
this, we already are discussing these things that AI cannot um, replace or
Mm.
create or whatever. It's like we can use this. That's what I've been doing. I've been channeling that into my work, and with years. So right now, it's not right now, but it will be. It will be in the future.
Yo, that's super dope. I love how you word it, and looking at what AI can't do is just, I think that's the message of this video, and that's something I've taken away. It's like, what can AI not do? And spirituality is one of those things. AI can't give you a purpose. I don't think it can. It can't give you a life purpose. It can't tell you what to do with your life, right? And also AI, as you said very accurately, AI is not perfect, and a lot of the great things that humans have done have been in spite of our imperfection, right? If we look back at the great things, it's like we've had temptation, we've had evil, we've had all this, but we've overcome it. And that's why I don't know if this is entirely related, but I think about Schindler's List a lot. And well, two things. I think about Schindler's List and how in the really darkest times of humanity, right, there is humanity shown. Like Schindler can do that, like, really selfless thing. And also in Brave New World, I think the message of that story, not that I'm not an expert at this, but right at the end, spoiler alert for Brave New World, the guy kills himself. The guy that comes from the other town, right, that doesn't have Soma and everything. He kills himself right at the end because he doesn't want to live in a world where there's no pain, where there's no and how interesting is that? So maybe part of the human condition is the struggle with the human condition. If we solve it,
100%,
we're
bro.
not human anymore.
100%. Yeah, that's very interesting the way that you put that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times when I look at things and I have like an issue to solve, or like I'm having like some sort of like crisis within myself or whatever it may be, I always look at nature because nature's been here. You know what I mean? We are we are part of nature. Nature's been here for ages. It's like you can apply the rules of the natural world into a lot of things, and this is like kind of like touching on like old world knowledge or like, ancient wisdom, for lack of a better term or better word. But it's like there's night and there's day. There's fucking rain and there's sun. There's dualism in this realm that just has existed for forever. And it only makes sense that if something is all good, it cannot be it cannot exist. If something is all bad, we'll see, like, there's an imbalance there. Everything needs to be met with balance, which is like, I guess, a universal principle. Yeah, so I guess that's the message in Brave New World. It's like exploring through the human experience the laws of nature and the rules of this fucking simulation that we are all playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And Brave New World is a dystopian book, like, absolutely, in the same way that 1984 is an exploration of pure, like, just order and control and tyranny over people. Brave New World is like a dystopia where we eliminate all negativity. And how does that play out? And it's so interesting. Like, Aldous Huxley made that so many years ago, and it's so relevant right now. And think about how much dopamine we as humans get on a daily basis compared to any other time in history is insane. And we already knew that was the way with pornography. I'll say corn because that's what we do, right? On TikTok. With corn, we already knew that, like, the dopamine was going crazy, hitting, right? And I think the counterculture is anti-dopamine, right? Or at least it was a few years ago for me. Like, a lot of the stuff I was seeing, a lot of influencers were talking about anti-dopamine. Like, and so I think that'll keep going. And yeah, I think humanity, for all our good and all our bad, I think the one thing we do is we just never give up, right? We've really never given up.
100%. What do you think is calling you currently?
What's calling me? Well,
Yeah,
I
like
had
you
a
obviously
bit
have.
of a bit of a
Go.
crisis. I had a bit of a crisis because, the same thing with Buddha, right? To be honest, like, you get to you strive for something, and then when you get it, you realize, why did I want this? Right? And Mike Tyson talks about it. He calls his belts junk, right? Because he spent like the first, like, 20 years of his life or whatever, 25 years of his life sacrificing it to get this trophy. And then once he gets it, Oscar Wilde says there's two great tragedies in life: never getting what you want and getting what you want. And getting what you want is far worse than not getting what you want. Because most people in the world for human history didn't get what they wanted. They just woke up and just, like, plowed the field and said, oh, maybe I can do this, but I'm just going to keep plowing the field, and then they die. Right? But what happens if you said, okay, I'm plowing the field, all right, I'm going to become the king. I want to become the king. Then you become the king and you realize heavy is the head that wears the crown. Right?
100%.
And so you and I are going to, this is just going to be a constant thing for us because we're people that constantly strive. We don't settle. And it's never going to stop. So we're always going to have to change the goalposts. I can tell you what I'm doing with this podcast now is it's purely because I'm on TikTok live every night and I want to have intellectual discussions. I want to talk to these smart people and have these debates, right? And I need to have podcasts in order to show them, okay, these are the intellectual discussions that I have. Please come on. I want to debate you, challenge me, and that's what this podcast is about. I want to discuss. I want to talk about truth and find truth here, and explore it without judgment. So yeah, I would say that's what I'm doing right now, and I don't. It's kind of a bit like money, right? Money is not everything, but if you encounter a problem in the future, you'll probably want to have some. So it's the same with my intellect and these podcasts. It's like, intellect is not everything, but if I sharpen my critical thinking, it's probably I would rather have it than not have it. And that's just me trying to sharpen a part of my brain. So yeah, anything else you want to say? We're going to wrap it up, but we can do this again anytime you want, obviously.
Yeah, fire. I'm keen to keep going, bro, if you want. But yeah, I'm just making an observation. Like, you've just become like you've played the game, the TikTok live game for a bit, and you've just kind of noticed like, oh, I have more to offer, and like, and you want to explore that, which is a good thing. And I think that's gonna result in things for you and the people that are involved and interested in that will create a lot of positivity for them. But at the same time, it's not going to hit the same amount of people because they're just not at that level, not ready to engage in that. Because obviously, the average person is just like interested in the average stuff. So,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, by no means. But it's not you, is what I'm saying, and that's like it's a good thing that I assume you're still going to do the normal stuff, but it's good that you've integrated like something a bit higher order because that's who you are.
That's what I want to do, but I'll still do TikTok live and all that. And you said it's not going to hit that many people. Well, if hitting people,
it won't hit as many.
Yeah, if hitting as many people, right? If my objective was to get as many views as possible, then obviously I know the exact content that I would be cranking out on TikTok. Right? But every one of my live streams, to be totally honest, when I do that, every one of my live streams is people coming in and just saying the same thing. Like, where's the jump scare? Where's the, from my viral video that you said in this viral video that if I come to the live stream, I'll get this. So it's like, where is it? Where is it? And that is totally mindless, right? It's just a horde of people just coming and screaming at you, right? And so yeah, views and like, are views even valuable anymore? That's the question. I don't know.
I think there'll always be. I think attention is, and will always be the highest currency that we can give as humans. Like where attention goes, energy flows, right? If you put your attention on something, if I like think about it in terms of like my consciousness, my brain is simultaneously creating and experiencing the world around me. Where I put that conscious focus, that awareness, is where I will in some way create a section of reality. It's like when you watch a movie or when people are trying to guide your attention towards something with ads or with TikTok or with whatever it might be. When you're conscious of something, that's when it becomes created. That's when it manifests into the physical world that we live in, So it's like before the money, before the inventions, before anything valuable is created, there has to be conscious awareness and effort and like focus put into it. You know what I mean? So I think views are always going to be, or attention, in other words, is always going to be valuable. Maybe you want a higher quality viewer and therefore less quantity in this with this endeavor. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So I learned that really quick. Like when you look at Kick live streams, because I've been looking at those too, there are people that get thousands of views and make £60, right?
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Reality. That's a reality. And I'll tell you, it's 100% a reality on TikTok because I have been that person that gets literally thousands and thousands of views, tens of thousands, right? Hundreds of thousands. And the money, which is what you could gauge as how much you're helping people. Let's use money as a way to say how much I'm helping people, right? Is very low because you're taking their attention, but you're not really providing anything. So I really do think you do say views are valuable, and they are valuable nowadays, but I don't think views are a quarter as valuable as when before the adpocalypse in YouTube. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, there's a lot of platforms fighting against each other. Kick, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube. They're fighting against each other for the creator, and as a result, they're giving a lot of organic reach. This is just my analysis of it, and so as a result, organic reach is not what it used to be. I would say, because there's just so much more. There's so much more, I guess, competition between the platforms and stuff. So if you have a lot of views, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're successful. That's what I think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. And also it's because the average, like the viewer has also, like they cotton onto things, right? You can't run the same ad. Like the landscape of the viewer and their mind and what they think and feel and shit, just a human in general, it's constantly changing. Like your almost like, I don't use the word program, maybe condition. Like when you see like a sponsored post, you're instant. My brain's instantly just like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I know it's been not there because it's of value. It's there because they've tried to not cheat the system, but use money um to take that attention, to get that view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very interesting, like the psychology of it all.
Yeah, I'm
When
interested.
you have a good product though, like
when you have a good product, yep.
Yeah, people will always like. I think you can still garner the attention pre-adpocalypse. Like you can still make the views count. It's just like there's a reason why people are watching things. There's a reason why people give their attention to things. And like if you say, look over there, there's a car is like burning on fire, or like there's some like, oh my god, they'll look at it. Of course, they won't be able to take their eyes off. Will they remember it tomorrow?
I don't know. Yeah. Or will it move them? Will it change their life? Which is what art has the ability to do. I want to touch. I wonder what you think about this. So, I don't know. You don't know much about watches, right? But essentially, I'll just give a brief rundown. So before everybody had to know the time, watches were in people's pockets. Then it moved to the wrist in World War I because men had to use their hands for stuff, so they had to look at their time here, right? Watches were a technology that we created, right? Watches have evolved now to become a status symbol, right? So we have watches now. You have an AP, you have a Rolex. Nobody cares about the time on their watch, right? They look at the time accurately on their phone, right? But they have a watch, and a watch is valuable, and it's a status symbol. So the most expensive watches are typically handmade, right? They're not made in a factory, right? So, and it's the same with cars too, right? And cars and watches are somewhat analogous, right? So the most expensive cars like Rolls-Royce are handmade somewhat in a factory. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're not mass-produced like a Toyota or a Nissan. Do you think there's an analogy between that and content, right?
100%.
Yeah. So
yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
People in the future will assign a lot higher value, not necessarily views, but a lot higher value to handmade kind of shot content as opposed to AI.
Yeah, 100%, and it'll stick out. You'll be able to tell instantly that somebody's real has made this. Do you know what I mean? That's a really good analogy. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
and I really like the idea of the watch because it's a testament to the timeline of a product. Like in its initial phases, it's useful and like ingenious, right? And then it becomes like capitalism does its thing, and it goes from inside your pocket to on your wrist because it's tapping into the human psychology of status and things that we strive for idealistically, and then it like transcends its original purpose to be completely just like a status symbol. Now we don't need to check our wrists for the time. Same with like Uber, same with like taxis, right? Like the way that Uber took over the taxi thing was like, okay, we're gonna create something of value. We're gonna undercut all the taxis and shit, and then get into the market. And then once all the taxis, because it's a better system, once all the taxis start dropping off, then we're gonna raise the prices back to how much a taxi used to be. So they're effectively just like starts off as valuable, then capitalism does its thing, which is good and bad. Or it can have positive and negative ramifications, but it's just what happens. And then at the end of it, there's no more taxis left. It's just Uber. It's like the next evolution of things. It's a very interesting idea.
Well, in that specific Uber case, then Uber now becomes the luxury rideshare, right? That would be the last step. Okay, but then what happens after that? I guess it just dies.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's going to become driverless cars soon, and then how how cool of a driverless car can you have, or like I don't know. The capitalism will do its thing. It's not for me to say where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure there's very people that will see beyond, like I said, see into the future and create it and bring it into fruition. Um, but it's very interesting how things evolve. And if we're talking about the evolution of content, it's no longer to serve the same purpose that it originally did, and we have to kind of play into that. It's like, okay, now the people that I watch are not necessarily entertainment, but more of a necessity now, because I life is different to when videos and stuff started to come out. There's no longer like I haven't watched a tutorial in a while, for instance. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and now it's like it's overtaken the TV industry. It's overtaken the cinema, like Hollywood. It's like
Okay, but let's
now how do I make it the videos and the content that I watch a status symbol? Maybe we should think about it in that
maybe.
realm. Like, yeah, go. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, so I think you said obviously everybody knows YouTube overtook the TV industry. I think this is I think it's inevitable. AI will overtake YouTube. AI will eat YouTube, AI will eat Google. Do you see that? Do you see? Obviously, you see how a chatbot eats Google.
Yeah, yes. But don't you think like I feel like the companies will still like Mac is now selling Matcha. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
they'll integrate the package they'll use AI in their corporate like to make the next big thing. That's why Meta made the shift, or Facebook made the shift from Meta, because they see like, oh, this is where it's going to go. Let's prepare for it.
I
So
I think this is
100%, yeah, I
one
think
thing.
there'll
This
be
is one thing where we slightly disagree. So I
okay.
noticed before you said like capitalism's going to do its thing, and the people who have a monopoly are going to keep, using their monopolistic power to just keep monopolizing the market, right? And I
I think
think
in
that
terms of Facebook, like in terms of AI, the tech companies will continue to overrun, but like in general, there's new things that come across for sure.
yeah, exactly. So and I think when you talk about like I take a more, I guess, optimistic and free market approach that just because Apple's the biggest, just because Facebook's the biggest, doesn't mean that someone from their basement can make something better that everyone just switches to, right?
100%. No, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
and that is actually a result of capitalism.
100%. Yeah, no, fuck with capitalism. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not as monopolistic as you think. And even just look at the VR headsets, right, that we have now. How interesting is it that Apple's making it, right, but no one's wearing it. So Apple's making the Meta, no one's wearing it, but people are wearing the Ray-Bans. People are wearing the Oakleys.
Yeah, 100%. But they know it's coming is the important idea, and they're priming you to adopt it in their like they already have the avenue. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole
Mm.
reason that the new iPhone, um, iOS software, whatever, is transparent. All the things are transparent now is because when you wear the glasses, things are going to be transparent. They're priming people to like um, adopt the change that they're going to make because they have the power to. And I agree with you. There's going to be the first trillionaire one of these days, and it's probably going to be somebody that no one knows currently, and it's probably going to be on some Ready Player One shit, bro. It's probably going to be in the AI glasses, in the or like fusing or bridging the gap between video games and movies, and creating something like Experience where you can like full run another simulation within this fucking like yeah, just
Yeah.
to entertain yourself. Um, I agree, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
probably
if
someone
we
that we
look
don't
at
know.
if we look at history, like human history, it's not actually been monopolies. TV had a monopoly, then it just got destroyed by YouTube. Social media had a monopoly, I guess, right? MySpace until Mark Zuckerberg came along. And I just truly believe that there's a Mark Zuckerberg out there that is literally looking at all Facebook and social media and just being like, this is inefficient AF. I have a better idea. I'm making it right now, and it's gonna catch on in the same way that Minecraft caught on. I know I'm jumping around, but in the same way Minecraft caught on, and it was just one guy coding, and it caught on and went crazy, right? Because that's what it lives in, and that is lightning in a bottle, and that's very hard to predict. But I think
Mm.
yeah, that's just my position is like Apple, and I'm influenced by Casey Neistat, who said the same exact thing. He said like the issue with Apple's MetaQuest is it is the future, but no one's wearing it, right? And the good thing about Meta's Ray-Bans is that people actually wear it because Ray-Ban is cool, right? If you see someone
Mm.
wearing Meta Ray-Bans, you're not gonna laugh at them. You're not even gonna think twice, really. You're gonna be like, oh, that's cool, right? And that's now.
Bro, I'm,
Now,
I'm,
fast
I'm gonna
forward
think
3 years.
I'm gonna be on like some fucking TikTok where they like troll me and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, until everyone has it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure
I'm
everyone
I'm
on
pretty
the
excited. I'm
yeah.
excited for the glasses because they are gonna be like a lot more convenient. But it's also like you got to be very cognizant and conscious of the convenience and then like the where it takes your fucking civil liberties and your freedoms, like whether you give them away or whether you just lose them because you don't have to think for yourself anymore, or whether it's like, you know, when they track the data that you like your micro movements in your eye and like, you know, there's also things that I'm skeptical and um yeah, aware of
Yeah.
the negative things that they could anyway.
Oh, no, no, I think it's I don't think that's in any way. I think obviously if we all just had one AI and that's the only person we spoke to and we lost all critical thinking. So no critical thinking, we just never question it. We just have one AI, we never question it. Great until someone corrupts the AI and says, "Okay, now tell everybody that this is the way." And then no
Yeah,
one
bro.
even has the faculties, the mental faculties to fight back against it because they don't know how to critically think. And I
Yeah,
think people are like that anyway already, but yeah, it's not
100%.
going to help. Yeah. And I think that's a good place to stop. That's a warning. And that's why we have the podcast, and if you watch this, that's great. And yeah, critical thinking, very important. I think it's going to be more important. I think spirituality is still going to be important in the future. And what can't AI do? What do you think, Frank? Anything else you want to say, and then we'll end it?
I want to say that no matter what happens, you always have the free will to do whatever you want in this life. No matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone does, you have an innate spark of genius, consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it, within you. And it's up to you to figure out the code of your own destiny and existence and what have you. Um, and then once you've got that, which I already think I have, it's just about implementation. And nobody's like, you know, going to stand in your way when you have you read The Alchemist?
Of
When you
course.
yeah, when you what is it? What's the big quote from it?
I
The
don't know. I
universe
can't
can
remember.
all the universe conspires when you decide to follow what your heart intends. I know I
Oh, that's
paraphrased
right.
it a bit, but
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, the underlying message. I really fuck with The Alchemist. Anyway,
I know
that's
you
what I
do.
have to
I
say.
know you do. And also the gold that he was looking for was where he started. But he couldn't have found it
Okay.
until he went on the journey. So you already have
Absolutely,
the
bro.
gold. You already have it. But you got to go on the
In
journey to find it. That's what I took away from The
exactly
Alchemist.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yep. Well, the gold is the journey.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. All right. And on that, I'm going to end. Goodbye.